Have you ever known somebody who it doesn't even matter what happens? They always find a way to frame it in a negative way. They find a way to be angry, upset, disappointed, frustrated. On the flip side, have you ever known a person who no matter what occurs, even if it's something that you would think is horrible, they always find a way to look on the bright side and see the positive in it and get something positive out of it? I want you to understand that these people are not necessarily just born that way. That is a condition. It is something any of you can condition yourself to do in any direction that you wish. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it in a positive way, how to use anything. And I do literally mean anything and everything that happens to you in life. As long as you are alive to process it and think about it, then you can do anything with it. I'm going to tell you how to do anything, especially positive things, with the occurrences that happen in your life. Number one is first an understanding that everything that happens in your life is neutral. There is no such thing as a good thing or a bad thing. If your dog got hit by a car, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you planned a picnic outside and it's raining, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you find $1,000 on the ground when you're walking down the street, it's not necessarily a good thing. Everything that happens in life is neutral. And if you understand that, then it'll help you understand my next point. Since you know everything's neutral, number two, everything is actually based on your frame. What is a frame? A frame is the place in which you put, the boxes in which you put everything that occurs in your life. Is this good or is this bad? Like I woke up in the middle of the night by the fire alarm at the hotel. Is that good or is it bad? All right, it was raining outside and I had the top down on my car and now I'm soaked. Is that good or is it bad? The way that you choose to frame it determines whether you see this as a good story or as a bad story, as a positive thing to help you or a negative thing that didn't help you. When you set the frame, you are controlling the process. You want to see an example of someone setting the frame? Listen to a police interrogation. Listen to a lawyer litigating in court. Their job is to set a certain frame to get everybody in a certain mindset so that everybody's thinking the way that they want them to think. And that way they can basically dictate, manipulate, and control the entire situation. Here's what you need to understand. You don't need to be a police officer or a lawyer to do this. The way you frame your own mind dictates, manipulates, and controls the situation called your life. That's why the framing matters so much. Now, how exactly do you do this framing? That's a good question. Mental conditioning. Mental conditioning works the same way that physical conditioning does, in that an athlete in the off season does a whole lot of physical conditioning so that when they get into the games during the season, what happens? When they have to run up and down the court or whatever sport they're doing, they don't get tired as quickly as someone who hasn't done the conditioning does. Same thing when it comes to your mindset. The more you mentally condition yourself for whatever may happen in life, the better you'll be able to deal with, guess what? Whatever may happen in life. But if you haven't done the conditioning, then you shouldn't expect to be able to run up and down a football field without getting tired. But if you've done the conditioning, then it's actually relatively easy compared to the average person. The mental conditioning is the work that you do when nothing is going on so that when something does go on, you're able to handle it instantly. This is the reason why people do mindfulness and meditation exercises. You need to have your own practice for mental conditioning. You want some practices and you want a process and a framework and a system for doing this, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com.